Hey, YouTubers and friends, how you all doing? Welcome to another Tuesday night Hangout Live with Toledo Jazz, Dano, and I. Tonight we have the return visit of fellow treasure hunter, metal detectorist, live streamer, and whatnot. So don't go away. We'll be right back with DK from Adventures in Dirt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live with your hosts and Marvin, Toledo Jess, and Dano. Tuesday Night Hangout Live is a Flash in Your Pan production.
It's sweaty balls.
You got a hot mic, Dano.
Sweaty.
And you got a hot mic.
Sweaty. Well, he said it. I'm just repeating what he said.
That's what they're talking about in the chat room.
He's got sweaty balls.
Are they talking about that in the chat room?
Yes.
I've been trying to figure out something with my
Hey,
screen.
they don't need us to steer them to the gutter.
No, they're already there.
We all live there.
Hey, Flash fam, how you all doing tonight?
What's up, everybody?
folks?
Been watching the chat. It's so funny.
Oh, Dano, Jesse.
So, hey, we should say hi to our chat friends.
We probably should.
Sure.
Go for it.
Benzo was #1 tonight.
Benzo bro.
Yeah, followed by the one and only world's greatest moderator, Mr. Lodak.
Mr.
our friend.
Lodak. Yeah.
Mama's gone detecting. How are you?
Hey,
JP
Mama Bear.
Baltimore.
Gold Pro Unlimited is here, and Ed's brother James is in.
Oh, yes.
Hurley.
My big brother Jim.
That's right.
Good seeing you, bro.
Gold Prospectors, Gold Pro
You
Unlimited.
missed it, Jim. Mom was in the room last week.
Let's go. How's it going tonight?
Digologist, hey man, what's up?
Hey, digologist, long time no
Yeah.
see.
Jeff Berry's out there.
Susan Hamilton.
And JP Lawns and more.
Yep.
I told Susan it was good seeing her again.
Very good.
Been a
Kind of missed
while.
her. She hasn't been, right? She hasn't been here in a while.
We
Charles
Fire
Prospector,
been
what's
here.
up, guys?
we miss
Miss
you,
Gold, what's up, Jeff?
Jeffrey.
Fire's in here with us again.
If Jeffrey's here, Two Toes might be lurking. He
And
does
Andy
that,
and Girl
you
Relic
know.
Hunter's here. Haven't seen her in the room in a little bit.
The Ugly Prospector, welcome, welcome.
Shaw's prospecting.
Yep. So, Teddy C, how you doing tonight?
Jason Keith prospecting. He's now. There's
There's
an
the
issue
Adventures
he
in
might
Dirt
have to
chat room.
deal
You see
with.
him?
But let's
Who?
say he's
Who?
going to be the
Adventures in
longest.
Dirt.
Ah.
Oh, that
I
guy.
heard of him.
Yeah.
He's a troll. Just ignore that guy. Ski searcher. Hey man,
Sharon,
what's up?
take care of him.
There's a Mark Thomas. Oh, outdoor influencer. He's in here.
Yep.
Along with
Influences
Snorkel
in the
Pirate, welcome.
Dennis Hendrick, how are you tonight?
Ambient Girl,
Terry
Oh,
Curry.
good to see
Gold.
ya.
What's up, Smith
Mark
Gold?
Thomas. I'm sorry I missed your birthday the other week.
Digologist.
Farmers for Truth
Hmm.
says, hammer down, everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Jared said he was here before Benzo. He just didn't want to say nothing.
I'm sorry. It only counts if you say something.
Hey, Ron Shaw.
Dorothy Gal's here.
Chrissy.
Oh, what's up, Chrissy?
Chrissy, Robert, or I mean Johnny. Don't know
Amy
why.
and girl, how are you tonight?
Treasure Vixens in the house.
Oh yeah.
Vixens.
Oh yeah.
How's it going, ladies?
What's up?
Angela
them in a couple
and Rose, good to see you. They're coming to Flash Bash along with
Right.
Snorkel Pirate and
Luke
Outdoor Influencer. And Luke should be coming. I don't know why he's not. He's only right next door.
know.
I don't
BC
want to talk
Treasures,
to him.
Trails.
Hey, BC Treasure Trails, I'm mad at Luke Duke. He had tons of time to get time off, tons of time to get things fixed. Jeez. Mad at you, Luke Duke.
What a bro.
It's okay, you're a brother. We love you, but still. Oh, man, I just saw someone else in here. Ski Searcher, good seeing you.
Yeah. Is that a new person? I've
No,
never seen
they've
it.
been around before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, look.
What?
I don't believe my eyes.
Which
Earth
one?
Radio's actually on time this week.
On time?
What?
What?
Yeah, he should be. You know, we went on this time frame, this
On this
slot,
particular day.
like almost 3 years ago, just for him.
Hey, Joe Sassatonis,
Well,
Yes.
there's Gold Adventures with Raven and Smackerot.
Raven,
Hey,
Smack
Ravens,
Come on.
Skipper Rock, how you doing? I mean, Smacker Rock. HD.
Mally Man showed up.
Another one's gonna be
Yeah,
I
on
know
Mike,
M.A.
Friday.
Lyman dead, but Mally Man showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good to see you, Mike.
Bottle of Hawk.
Mike's a good man.
Bottle Hawk. Huh, that's a
Where's
Jersey
that? Here
history
he
hunters
says.
are in the house. What's up, dudes?
Hey,
Dudes!
There's
Audra and Rach.
Oh, there's Dwight. Ignore him. Ignore him.
Ignored.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who changes his names. Hey, Dwight,
Thanks for
welcome
coming
back.
over, Audra. Rachel, thanks for coming over, guys.
They're awesome. I wish their show, I could catch a little bit of their show like I tried to do with Charlie Risers. Excellent, excellent.
Belly Man.
M.A.
So-
Lyman. I've been corrected by Ed. M.A. Lyman.
Okay,
Dennis Frederick?
M.A. Lineman. Mally Man.
Whatever.
HD Shovel Ed is in the house.
Yeah, that's the other end.
He's a good friend of ours.
Yep,
Great to see you, man. Bottle Hawk.
that's a new one here.
Bottle Hawk sounds
Bottle
like
Hawk.
a
Sounds
bottle
interesting.
digger to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I love
cool.
I like bottle digging. It's cool.
So do I. Many
Yeah, I know.
forms of treasure hunting.
Then again, I like the bottle empty sometimes, just every now and then.
yeah,
I like to empty them first.
Right, right.
yeah.
Find them full, empty them.
That's it.
You miss every bit of it, where it will.
Hit that thumbs up, folks. Gotta hit that thumbs up.
Oh yeah. So this week,
Oh, what a week.
what a week.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great weekend. I
I
camped
was-
all weekend. It was
We were
beautiful
supposed
out.
to, yeah, right. We were all supposed to meet up to to scout the Flash Bash site, plan some plans, and
I was there.
and Dano got there. I left the house to get there.
I shouldn't have.
About 45 minutes into my drive, ring, 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 ring. Oh, Ed, what's he want?
Oh, that, yeah. Lovely memory.
Yes, so
Uh,
tell him what you wanted, Ed.
I want to cuss really bad, but
And that's not all.
Dano really helped me out with that because he's like, calm down. Because I talked to Dano before I talked to you.
Right.
And Oh man, I wonder. Doggone truck, but she's been a good truck, and she's an '04. So maybe I'll get a new truck soon. I doubt it. Oh, but hey, on the bright side, it's fixed. But the alternator starter, new battery later, a tow truck fee. But there's people in the chat room right now that helped me take a bite out of that.
Saw that.
Where Will was
Hi,
one of
hi,
them.
Scuba Sonia.
Hi,
Yeah, I saw that.
Sonia.
You had an emergency auction Saturday because that was a lot of money out at one time.
Yeah.
And everybody
No.
pulled in and helped Ed.
Yep, that was cool. That was very cool.
Yeah, I sold a little more gold than I would have liked to, but hey, it gives me a good reason to say, honey, I'm going prospecting.
And I'm not bitter because I didn't get to go to the creek and hang out and finally get outside from being cooped up for 2 months.
I'm not either. I'm just bitter because Dano had a good time on the river is why I'm bitter.
Oh,
Love you, Daniel. Love you,
happy,
Daniel.
I'm happy for Dano. You got to go out.
And so am I.
Nice to be out.
Yes.
I would have loved to made it, but I think I chose the wiser decision.
You wouldn't have made it.
I would have never have made it.
No.
And then I would have been farther.
And
then my tow bill would have been grandier.
And I was really no help other than call a tow truck, Ed.
Well, you kept me company while you were there. You got the stuff you needed from me.
Right, I did too. We did accomplish something.
We did accomplish part of the mission.
Right.
But not quite all of it. I want to give a shout out to a fellow treasure hunter from the New Zealand, our little brother in the detecting world, and he pans magnet fishes, all kinds of cool stuff with him and his brother. Our friend Marius from Marius Adventures. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Marsh.
He's a good little kid.
So, Jesse, did you fire up your new toy yet?
No. I had to go to therapy this morning, and I did some other things. So not yet. I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't want. Well, I mean, we just got enough, right? I don't want to ruin any right off the bat.
So you're watching 50 YouTube videos before you ever start.
Yeah, I've been watching some videos. I mean, that's one good thing about YouTube. If you want to know how to do something, you go, how do you do this? And you'll get 3 or 4 people.
Watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, watch a YouTube video.
I'll tell you how.
Yep. Anywhere from troubleshooting your refrigerator, your stove, your washer and dryer, your furnace, your car.
You name it. You're using it. Our friend DK here used it recently.
Right. I bet, yeah. I bet if a person had enough brain power to figure out what they were actually watching and be able to do it, they could actually learn how to build a house. Just watching right? Just, it would take a long time, but wouldn't that would be a cool YouTube video.
Yeah. It would be cool.
Yeah, but
and get them right to the end and be like, all right, if you want to finish this project, $250 more back to my Patreon account, and we'll get you the rest of the videos.
Yep. All I need is 100 people to do that for me.
That's
it. Yeah. Okay, write that down.
I saw King prospecting in here too, Chris. He came by the house and just shot the BS with us a little on Sunday.
Oh, you always got to have someone to come over. You know, when you're doing mechanics like that, working on cars and stuff, you always got to have someone come over to.
I didn't lift a wrench. I didn't lift nothing. I watched a buddy I work with, a good friend of mine. He did the welding on the rock crusher, Jake. He's a heavy equipment operator. He's a trained mechanic. And I'm like,
Right,
hey,
as a
how much
supervisor.
would you charge me to maybe switch out an alternator? He's like $50, but an alternator battery starter later, he's like, no, you're giving me too much. We're like, no, you're not. We're not. Here, take it.
It's worth it, you know. But no, you always got to have that one guy to come over and help you shoot the shit.
Well, you know, Chris is a bro, and Chris is
Right.
welcome here anytime. He was actually helpful. He gave me the ride to the auto parts store to get the starter while, no, we were getting something while Jake was
He was a parts runner for you.
only one time.
Well,
Jake was taking care of something on my truck, and Chris gave me a ride. Hey, Barbara, how are you?
So one of the things that we also decided to for the Flash Bash, we got a lot of door prizes that were donated to us that everybody will get a ticket to possibly win one of those. And we're gonna be doing some a few raffle things that we have to raffle off. One of them is this bag right here. It's a bag from Carolina Prospectors Lucky Strike Pay Dirt. That's a $20 bag, right? That's a lot of dirt for $20. A lot of big rocks in there, stuff like that. So what I decided this week, pin this up front, Ed.
Okay, give me uno momento, por favor. Let me see. Pin video. Down a little, over a little, right there, right there. No, you had it.
Right there. Oh, right there. Right there.
Anyways,
Maybe pull it back a little.
there's about a third of a gram there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's about a third of a gram there. I'm gonna put this in there. I'm just gonna throw it in there, empty it out in the bag. So this will be raffled off.
Sweeten it up a little bit.
What?
Sweetening it up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just
Yeah.
a little sweetening.
And
I think I got more.
there's 2 more shows after this before Flash Bash 2, so you never
Right.
know.
So I figure by the time Flash Bash comes along, I'll have a gram in there.
That's right, HD. Well, yeah, at least probably. Maybe.
You know, and then if you decide we can put some more in there, we can do that.
Yeah, I sold a bit, but I got more. So yeah.
There we go. Sweeten that bag up.
And that treasure chest is gonna be good
Don't forget the
too.
treasure chest. That's got gold, silver, jewelry. It's got all kinds of stuff, treasures in there.
Raw stones, polished stones,
Canaanite.
silver coins, and raw natural silver crystalline.
Barb Cannell in the house.
Yeah, Barb's a great gal.
You see what Raven said in Smackarock? Nice. The bag is the new can. The bag. We got the bag.
We got the bag.
Flash.
Screw the can. We got the bag.
We got the flash bash bag. Whoa.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Barb. I also sent a mass email to everyone who participated in the auction and won a lot.
It's looking good out there where we're having the outing too. It's all mowed.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Looking good out there.
Looking good. Ready to
That's
rest.
right, Audra and Rage. Flash bag.
There you go.
Flash bag. Nice. I like
Hey, Kay's digging it. How you doing?
Okay.
Well, and do we have anything else to bring up? You know, we talked about Flash Bash. We talked
Something
about
big's happening.
Ed Murphyism on Saturday morning.
Something big's gonna happen. It's coming.
Oh,
That's right. Make sure to be here the 26th, Open Line Tuesday,
That's right.
because big things are gonna happen.
Things happening.
Big, like Texas, big.
Oh,
AK, big.
Like Canada, big, eh?
Big. Huge. Big. All right.
And it will be fun.
Oh yeah.
It will be fun.
You betcha. I know it is. So we're
Oh,
gonna
Kelly
put our friend Ken, or fondly known as DK, in the spotlight. Are you ready, DK?
Ready? Got your makeup all taken care of?
Yeah,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam.
Let me get these nose hairs out real quick. All right.
Too late.
We're gonna flash in your pan tonight. Dun, 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 dun.
So how have you been since the last time you were on, DK?
Yeah, when was that? How long ago was that? Because we tried it before, it didn't really work out, and I'm glad you guys were able to have me back on.
Glad to be back in the Skype era.
Yeah, it was during the Skype area on my laptop. It
Was there cars back then?
pre-towers. I think they had stone wheels, and you had to propel them with your feet like Fred Flintstone.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me back on.
Well, appreciate you taking the time to be with us here again tonight.
You know, I was trying to rack around. Ed says he's been on before, but why don't I remember the show? What happened? Because you're not the only one that's happened to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
okay.
I wasn't on very long. I think we dropped pretty quick, so
yeah,
we didn't get very far.
Yeah.
I think you guys got my social security number, and that was about it.
Yeah, thanks.
It's been
thanks for the boat.
Very useful.
Yeah. Say hey to everyone in chat room that showed up tonight. I see a lot of friends in there tonight. Thanks for coming on over and being a part of this Flash in Your Pan with Ed and the gang. I
see a lot of mutual friends in here.
Yeah. Right. A lot of the same friends, you know. I mean, we're all like-minded people in the sense that we're all treasure hunters in one form or another. You know?
Oh yeah.
47 in my room.
That's where the hand thing came from.
Right.
But I did forget one little announcement.
Spit it out.
A little shout out to David Buckle of Gold Rush, Tasmania.
Oh, David, yes.
What's up, David?
He has honored me. David's been a part of the Flash fam for a long time now.
He's a freaker flyer.
Yeah, and he's the ultimate in call-ins and asking his hypotheticals. But, hey, Marty is nuts about the digging. He's asked me to host a special he's having this coming Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10 a.m. Aussie Tassie time, whatever part of Australia you're in. I think they have time zones though, so you figure it out. But I've been honored to be a host of his live stream. I'm gonna host it from here. It's his stream though, it's his show with some awesome guests. He has
Us.
well, he has Pioneer Polly joining
Right.
us. He has Kazi Boys Prospecting joining us, and Andrew Smith of Adventure Gold joining us. And last but not
like him.
least, Minnie Mo and Curly of Flashing Your Pan. So,
And I'll be live from Prospector Days.
yeah, and Dana will be live on location from Prospector Days with the OSPA. So, I hope to see you all there. It will not be on Flash in Your Pan. It will not be on this channel. It will be on Gold Rush Tasmania's channel. So head over there, set the reminder, and join us. If you're not out doing something adventurous, join us this coming Saturday evening.
It's bound to be a good show.
If you enjoy a wild, crazy Tansy out prospecting for gold, subscribe and check out his videos.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, Ken.
No, that's all right. I want to say hi to Paul over American Woodland Relics that came in. Outdoorsy Gal O's in the house. And yeah, Mark with Nuts About Digging. Mark's Nuts About Digging. Good to see you.
West
Good to
Coast
see
Gold
you.
Prospecting. How you doing?
So how many years now have you been doing the weekly dirt? Okay.
A little over 2 years for the weekly dirt show. Yeah, I think I just I think I'm hitting, let me see. I think I'm on episode 190, about 190 of them.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been a couple of years for sure. 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
Excellent. It's a well put together show. You do have a live show too, don't you?
Yeah, I used to do more than I do these days. I've kind of fallen off the ball on that. I had a show called Digger Spotlight where I'd bring, much like this, I'd bring notable diggers in the treasure hunting community, metal detecting community on and interview them one-on-one and take questions from the chat room, much like this. And I just haven't done it in quite a while. Other things became more interesting and kind of took more precedence for me. And then every now and then I'll just throw up a live stream kind of unannounced, something I want to get back to actually. And those are always fun too. It's just, I just haven't done it much. Part of it was technical. I had to set up here that was kind of like pulling teeth a little bit to get it ready to go to live stream. And it was real delicate. Like I moved the wrong way and it would, mess up a lot. So now I've got that fixed. The camera I'm using, the real good camera I've got, came out with some new beta software that doesn't have to have me use a special third-party piece of hardware and 5 different cords and all kinds of stuff to get it to work as a webcam. Now it's just one single cord in this new software. So I'm going to start live streaming a lot more for sure.
I know I really enjoy live streaming. It's that instant gratification type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good show of yours too, and your treasure hunting you do, and
yeah. People
speaking
seem
of,
to enjoy it. Connecting with your audience is always a good thing. You get back and forth with the guests you have on, and then you also are both reaching out to the chat room, much like we do here, and connecting with people. It's a pretty good community. I mean, Ed, like everyone else there, Jess and Dan, it's a great community, not only in metal detecting, but in prospecting and bottle digging and magnet fishing. Whatever you're into,
Oh, yeah,
there's a lot of
magnet
good
fishing.
people. There's a lot of good people in there.
Great
There
folks
are.
across the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
Folks across the board.
Like I said, like I was saying, it's we're all like-minded in the sense that we all like treasure hunting, like to, it's being outdoors, not, we're not video game freaks and stuff like that. We just want to be outdoors. I want to go outside.
Yeah. The number of people I've interviewed over the years, I saw a pattern of sort of some similarities, right? Almost everyone I've interviewed, we had some kind of influence in our younger years that kind of helped us into this, treasure hunting business. Like my father was a real big dump diver, treasure hunter. You know what I mean? He would go to the dumps and always come back with, twice as much as he brought there, thinking he was going to find that special item, that first edition book, that whatever. And he just had a blast with it and was always had this, get rich quick idea that he was always going to come up with. And I think that kind of got in my soul a little bit. And so then as I moved to Colorado, the gold prospecting really hit me, where I wanted something I could go do outside with my kids. And it was like, they got a lot of gold prospecting here. I really wanted to get into it. I'd always wanted to. Lived in Northern California, but never really got into it. I was talking with Jeff from Smith's Gold about that. I was right in his area. That's right where I grew up. And I never did get into gold prospecting while I was there in that prime location in California. Now that I'm out here.
I can kind of relate to that myself, Ken. I grew up in California, born and raised.
Yeah.
And I've often told Jesse, man, if I was a beach bum. If I would have got into prospecting, my dad took us flea markets and swap meets. He was really big into tokens and antiques and coins. But if I would have got into gold prospecting back then, I could have been dredging good gold. And at least I'd be making money while I'm ditching instead of ditching to go surfing. I would have been ditching to go mining, but nonetheless.
Right.
So
it finds a way into our being somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I lived in Colorado too, and I had a friend who was working a mill. They were crushing the tailings. Because there was so much gold in the tailings.
Yeah.
They were crushing. They had a ball mill. And they were crushing it. They running down a sluice. And I saw my first nugget was, that big in a sluice box.
Wow.
I picked it up out of the water. I was looking at it. I go, wow. The owner says, put that back. Put that back, he said. So I put it back. But that was cool. But it didn't, I didn't get the bug. Or, it didn't bite me at that time. It was much later.
Right.
How
about you, Dan? You have a long history in it?
I've been prospecting now for probably, 16 years.
Yeah.
When I started off, I had no clue. I just bought a panning kit here in the town I live in at the town-wide garage sales. Watched videos to pan, taught myself how to pan.
Yeah.
And didn't know about seasoning a pan. So the pan got seasoned by me panning with it.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a great time, man. Met a lot of great people through all the time I've prospected. The one thing about our community is you need help, you get help.
Right.
You don't have to worry about people turning their back on you. They're always willing to lend a helping hand.
Right. As long as you really need help.
Right. As long as you play a game, they'll quickly turn their back on you and let you beat.
Yeah. If you're just taking advantage, then it will bite you in the end.
Ain't that the
treasure vixens? You have to season a pan. Yeah, salt and pepper season.
Maybe some syrup. Put some syrup on it.
When we see it out, you're gonna learn all about this part of the life.
Oh yeah, it's like owning a good cast iron skillet.
Yeah, we have a video on it, but you'll learn firsthand, gal.
Yeah, I got a whole stack of them that need to be seasoned.
Excellent.
So Ed, you were starting to chat away earlier, talking about something you wanted to ask you.
Well, I wanted to really know the dirt on DK's trip to the United Kingdom.
That was an amazing trip. Have you ever been over there, Ed?
No, sir. I've been all over the U.S., a bit of Mexico and Canada, but never abroad yet.
Yeah, I was over there before I was into metal detecting and kicking myself because wish I would have been back then. But no, this year came up and I got a call from a buddy of mine, a fellow YouTuber, and asked me if I wanted to go to England with a bunch of YouTubers. And that started the process of, honey, can I go to England?
Right.
Then,
I already bought the tickets.
Well, I had the desire to go, and I just had to find the money to go. It's not the cheapest thing, but no. So it started getting put together, and more, and I started learning about all these other YouTubers going to go there. And the deal was we were going to try to book out the entire facility, and to do that, we needed 12 people. So Jeff Plugmaster Ford he was the one kind of spearheading everything, and he got everything put together, and he got 12 people put together, and that was great because we're going to take up the whole facility. And I think we got a little price break on that too, because we did that. So it was great. It was great all the way around. So we just started chatting, we all got on a community chat and started giving each other the business and talking about going and leading up to, well, what do we pack? What do we bring? And the organization we were going through did a real good job of giving us a lot of tips and answering all of our questions. So by the time it was going, like probably 2 weeks out, we were just itching to go. We couldn't wait. And we knew we were going to have some weather there. Like we were going in February. We went in February, and it's not the best time to go.
Is that like our weather up here in the Midwest?
Yeah. Yes. It was. Yeah. We had it all. We had sleet and snow and rain and mud and wind.
Oh yeah.
Extremes, all the extremes. But we were prepared for it. We were packed and prepared for it. And got on a plane, went out there, and just had an absolute blast and found some amazing things.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that would be. I mean, that's where the oldest history is. So I think that would be an awesome place to find.
Well, according to some, wouldn't like Eastern Africa be the oldest place where history would be?
The place we were hunting was Colchester, and it's the oldest recorded city in Great Britain.
Oh,
it's the oldest recorded settlement in Great Britain. Goes way back. And it was, you're right. I mean, when you think about the type of history you can find there, it was mind boggling. Like you can't even put your mind around, you're holding something that's 3,500 years old. You're holding something from the Bronze Age or from the Iron Age, and man, it's crazy. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you. All of a sudden I lost sound. I can't hear Jess.
I hear you fine. Jesse.
Okay. Yeah. Jess muted. Okay, yeah. Jess is muted.
I'll say you might be
muted. There you go. I thought maybe you were trying to talk to me there. I saw his mouth moving. I thought maybe he was trying to talk to me.
Sorry. He was probably talking to that Ruby.
No, I was talking to you guys, but I didn't realize I was muted.
He does that,
Well, what's funny was I was actually getting responses. You would say, yeah, know. So.
Give you the big thumbs up. Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, so it was cool. It had like a picture, 12 YouTubers. We all had that in common. We were all treasure hunters. We were all YouTubers. So a little crazy, right, to do that kind of stuff. And we were all heading to a country that most of us hadn't been to before. So we all went out there and just had a blast. The company that we organized it through took a real good care of us. They put us into 2 vans. They had 2 drivers there. They call them barn leaders. They were our barn leaders. And they took us everywhere and had the lowdown on the fields. And they had so much land for us to hunt. It was sick. It was sick. Like every day we had 7 or 8 fields of 300 acres apiece to decide where we wanted to hunt, and could just wander and do whatever we wanted.
Wander wherever you wanted.
Yeah, just wherever you want to go. And they would tell us 20 pieces of gold have been found on this field. All kinds of old hammered silvers have been found on this field. All kinds of Romans are found on this field. Like they had it all, from previous hunts over the last 20 years. They kind of knew what was, and then they plow them and they turn up that ground. So it's always being replenished and it's never really hunted out.
Now, did you find any Saxon gold or anything like that?
Yeah, I didn't, unfortunately. But people in our group did.
Oh,
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, Missouri
You're
Mike.
not saying who either, right?
I'll tell you, they all put it out already, so I don't feel bad. Missouri Mike Clutter found a 5th century hammered Roman gold coin. That was just
Wow.
the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life. Had a Roman emperor on it. It was just
I think I
from the 5th
saw.
century.
Didn't you post that?
I featured him. I featured a bunch of the finds in a Weekly Dirt episode not too long
Okay,
ago.
that's probably where I saw it then.
Yeah.
I
And that
really
was
need to comment more on a lot of your guys's because I'd like it when people comment on mine. I just have a couple things going, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't comment on that video.
I'm terrible too. I watch all these
I am
videos and I
too.
don't ever say anything, and I feel
I
terrible.
watch a
about it.
video and then I go to the next one. Oh, I didn't even thumbs up it, you know.
Speaking of,
Terrible.
did you thumbs up this video yet, Jesse?
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. I did.
Okay.
Click.
Today it popped up.
Click. All right, if I can do it, you all can do it in the chat room. Make sure you all click that thumbs up.
I thumbs
Gotta
up
get
it.
that thumbs up going.
Terry
Oh,
Carter,
that-
good to see you.
That's bad because I don't remember doing it.
Yeah.
It's always
There
good
was,
to see.
There was a couple guys that also found some Celtic stater coins.
Yeah.
Full staters and quarter staters, and those are from, one was from 40 AD and the other one was from 10 BC or something like that. It was just ridiculous. When you think about that, you're just like, and then you read about the tribe that they were from, and they had their Dane or their leader or whatever they was on the picture, this horse image, and they're able to figure all that stuff out. All the historians over there and stuff, just amazing,
Yeah, you're talking about. I mean, here you're talking about 200, 250 years of history here in this country, as far as since they were
using metal,
right, since they were using metal here, as opposed to over there where you're talking about 400 BC and the Roman. You're fine. I mean, and that's amazing when if you don't know the history, you go, well, how did Romans get up in England?
Well, they ruled half of
they
it.
conquered everywhere. That's what they did.
Yeah. And Colchester, where we were at, was a huge Roman settlement, like huge.
Yeah.
And we were just in this hot spot, and it was amazing. Yeah. Just every target was an opportunity to pull a 3,000-year-old something out, or 1,000 or 800 or 600-year-old item, something, definitely we're never going to find here. So even the buttons we were finding from the 1600s and 1700s were ridiculous, to just think how old they were. And yeah, I found more than my share of items over there. I didn't find anything super spectacular like those gold coins that they found,
right?
But I found a lot of old copper coins from the 1600s. I found a Roman coin that I can't get a date off of because it's a little too wiped, but it's definitely a Roman coin, and so that's pretty cool. I know that that's at least so many years old. So my buddy found this piece. It was we had a contest between the group of us. We had not a contest, but they had made awards. Plugmaster Ford and Preacher Digger Mike over there out of Texas. They had made these plaques and made these awards for certain categories, and they had ugliest find of the week. And my buddy Kevin over at Potter County Diggers, he found the ugliest find of the week, but it was also the oldest and I think one of the coolest. Now, picture like a hose bib on the outside of your house and the little spigot that's on top of it. Picture that T-handled shaped knob, that T-handle.
Okay, right.
Now cover it with corrosion and make it brass, and just it was just uglier than sin. And what it turned out to be, what they called it, a quillion, a knife quillion. So basically, the top part of the knife that would protect your hand, almost like a
right.
They call it a quillion.
Okay.
Actually, had a piece of the blade in it, stuff, and that's what they were able to determine it was. And it was from 1 BC. 1 BC.
Wow. Wow.
From some old, Bronze Age tribe back there. It's just crazy.
Terry Carter says that sounds spectacular to him.
Yeah, it was, Terry. It absolutely was. You didn't want to throw anything away. That was the instructions.
No, I bet.
Don't throw anything away. We went back in the evenings and kind of looked through everything. But talk about talk about the dig and the hunt of my life. It was 7 straight days of sun up to sundown, dredging, walking, digging nonstop. I mean, we brought sandwiches with us, but we barely stopped to eat them and just kept trudging on through the weather, through the mud and the muck. The mud built up on your boots. You had about 20 pounds of mud on each boot, and you just keep walking because the next swing could be, just that swing, spectacular thing.
Could be the one.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of I don't know about a lot, but they have some strange antiquities laws there, right?
They do.
As to what you can keep and what you can't keep. Were you able to keep a lot of stuff or very little?
We didn't get to bring anything home, and you're right. They're very strict about that, and the people that we were organizing the trip to took it very seriously. So I will put that out there. A lot of people asked me that question when I started posting things about it on Facebook.
Right. Well, that's something you want to know. Like us, we want to know if we go from Ohio to Indiana or Illinois or Georgia, we need to know what the regulations and stuff are. So that would be the same.
Yeah. So these guys, they kind of laid it all out for us. Basically, we weren't going to be able to bring anything home no matter what. We had to leave everything there in a baggie that was marked with our name and our address and all that stuff. And every night the organizer would come through, we'd lay all of our stuff out, and he'd come through and he'd look through it. And anything that he looked like it was very notable, one, he wanted to take a picture of it for his website. And this guy wants to do it the right way because he wants to continue having these trips because he makes money.
Yeah, right, sure.
Oh yeah, it's a business for him.
It is a business for him for sure, and he does a good job with it. So, and we all had a great time. So I don't mind. I don't knock him for that. But so yeah, he would look through everything. He would take certain things, but during the dig, our barn leaders, if we found something spectacular, like when that gold coins came up, everything was like time out. The barn leader came over, gets on the walkie-talkie, calls the organizer, tells them what's going on, tells them what it is, because those guys can identify things. And like some of them, a lot of them, put it this way, I think we'll all get everything back.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything that they deem as national treasure or something that's older than 300 years or 100 years old or 300 years old, one of the two, they will have to offer it to a museum and put it through the paces. Everything got submitted to the liaison officer, the fines liaison officer there. And he kind of checked out the list of everything we found, and he was signed off on everything. And anything he wanted to take further looks at, he had the organizer grab it and bring it to him so he could look at it. And they vetted everything out. There was only a few pieces that they really wanted to look at. And when they got to looking at them and talked to the museum and the local flow, they were part of a hoard that had already been found, that was already documented, fully documented. And these were just additional coins from that hoard as got turned up by the plow.
Right.
So because they were already disclassified, what they call disclassified, the museum doesn't want them. To them, they're just like, oh yeah, it's another piece of that hoard. We already, had them in the museum. We documented.
Right. Like common cards and sports trading cards.
There you go.
You've got cards that are worth a lot of money. Then you got common cards that are they're just common cards.
Yeah.
They're nobody special.
Yeah. So I mean, even though it was spectacular to us, it was kind of common to them at that point.
Right.
So chances are they'll get those back. It's just what happens is he has to apply for an export license, which he covers for you. He takes care of all that for you. And then once that's ready to go, he'll actually get a hold of you through your email and say, do you want me to ship it to you, all your fines, or do you want to pick it up next time you come out? Because we're already planning our next trip out. And many of us
you're already planning your next trip out.
Yeah, 2021 in the fall. We're heading back. We were calling ourselves the Dirty Dozen because there was 12 of us. Right. We had shirts made and everything. The Dirty Dozen, American diggers in England, and we already set. Diggers, Dirty Dozen 2. We're gonna go back next year, so
right on.
Cool.
We may just have them keep our bags and we'll pick them up when we get back there. And then we just carry them on the airplane back.
Did you have any English detectorists meet up with you there? Like Don or any of them?
People caught wind. I know a lot of people out there from
Clodhopper Scott or
yeah. Oh, he was like, you got to come out, Ken. You got to come out. I know quite a bit of YouTubers from there, just from my interaction with the Weekly Dirt.
Right.
That's one thing
Right.
that show has done for me, is it's allowed me to meet all kinds of other YouTubers across the world. And I know quite a few of them in England. And a couple of them got wind I was coming out. And the ones that were local to where I was going to be, they were all after me to come out and go hunting with them, including Claude Hopper Scott and a couple others. I just, I had to make a decision, right? I was either stay with this group, because we were kind of sequestered. I didn't have a vehicle or anything. I would go wherever when they take me, just kind of like a lemming, just kind of like sheep.
Yeah.
I was just a sheep,
Just
looking for
leave me.
gold, which was fine. But I had to kind of tell everyone, look, I can't really get out and detect with you. I could have. I probably could have said, hey guys, I'm going to ditch you for a day. I'm going to go out with my YouTube buddy over here. But I'm glad I kind of did, and I'm glad I stuck with the group.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
next time. You go next year, so
That's right. Yeah, maybe we'll try next year.
There'll be more, and you never know. One day this might take you full time and you'll be traveling to even farther places.
Well, 2 guys that were there were Americans, but they were living in Germany.
Oh,
And those guys invited me out to Germany anytime I want to go. Man, I would love to to
go
those places in
detect the
Germany.
Black Forest or
That's where they're at.
something.
Yeah, they show me their phone of their finds, all their pictures. Like, oh my gosh,
Find a
please, yeah,
Nazi
send me some-
helmet or
detecting?
something.
Yeah, metal detecting, all metal detecting. Those
Find
guys
a
are big
machine
detectives.
gun.
And I got friends out there too. I got personal friends in England. So I have a place to stay. So I need to do a road trip just on my own, just head out there. And that way I can connect with all these other YouTubers, have them put me on some property, and then go stay with my buddy, hang out, my base of operations there. So
right.
that's just another trip I need to plan. So anybody got any money you want to lend me? Come on. The travel fund, the Adventures in Dirt travel fund.
Buy your tickets now. They're dirt cheap, DK.
I know. When I came back, the thing was just hitting, and we on my plane ride back, but not to the extent it is now. Like when it first started, people weren't quite as paranoid. It was just ramping up to that, and I got on the plane, and I was like, okay, I knew about it, so I was just like being careful what I was touching, but not too worried about it. And I turned on my entertainment center, and it was all in Chinese language. And I looked around, and every other entertainment center was in Chinese language, the characters. And I was like, this plane's been in China. And all of a sudden, just the hair on the back of my neck stood up. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
what do I do now?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
wow.
Hold on, let me interject for a second. Thank you very much, Mike Wolf. Oh yeah,
Awesome,
super
Mike.
chat.
Boom.
Awesome.
Boom, he says.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have a friend. Actually, the logo up in the upper left side, she designed the 3 of us. She drew it for us, our friend Ganna. And she went over there to visit another YouTuber friend of ours, not a great gamer. And she actually got quarantined and stuck over there in lockdown. Wow. I have no idea. I don't think she's even back yet.
Wow.
Good thing that didn't happen to you.
Yeah, no, I made it out just in time. The next group, there was another group coming in behind me like about a week later, behind us, and they I don't think they made it. I think they ended up canceling it and kind of postponing it. Digologists want to know if it was expensive to take the trip. Yeah, it was. I was probably about 3,000 with the airfare and all the food and everything and the whole trip. So
That's
not
an
tremendously
expensive trip.
bad, but
Dude,
definitely
my
expensive.
trip to Washington was 3,000. What was yours again?
Yeah, about 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, another super chat. Thank you.
Super chat.
Thank you, Raven and Smackarock. Thank you very much. Hey,
Nice.
Exploring with the Nugs and Cat Lady.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I saw some questions go by, but I kind of missed them. So if anybody has a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Make sure you put that @ flash in your pan first. I think it'll highlight it for Ed.
Yeah, tag one of us, either Dano, Jesse, or I, or tag our friend Adventures in Dirt.
Yeah, any of that. That'll help us see it. It'll stand out in the chat as we're looking at it. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Patrick.
Hey,
Or
Pack Mule.
Pat
Pat
Mule.
Mule. Or Pat Mule.
Pat
Patrick,
Mule.
good friend on this side of.
Exploring with the
Oh,
nug. Exploring with the nug.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
house.
Todd. Looks like it might happen.
Yeah, JP was asking. We're going to California in the fall, JP.
yes. Sure. You can use that same link. I believe our world famous Tasmania hypothetical questioner is gonna give us a little ring.
Oh, look who's here, Ed.
Run for the hills! And Ron Adams and Run for the Hills is actually one of our sponsors for
What's up,
this
Ron?
year's flashback.
Nice.
Walter Brunoni just came in the chat.
Welcome back.
Walter.
Good to see you, Walter. Now, I'm going to save David Buckle from Wet Leak. I was just saying, my friend, I'm going to save David Buckle from trying to hunt down that link and put it in the chat room. There it is, my friend. So,
yeah, we got to stay. Where we stayed over there was like this little barn area that they turned into cottages, almost like a bed and breakfast type place. And I was shacking up with. We had a little apartment that had 3 sleeping areas in it, and I had myself, Kevin with Potter County Diggers, and Nugget Noggin. So us 3 were hanging out all week and kind of having dinner together and getting ready and stuff for the day and stuff. So a lot of time to talk and get to know each other real well. And then, of course, all the other guys in the van rides and out to dinner in the evenings. And it was really just a great time. We really bonded real well and really got to know each other real well. And
Cool.
Can't wait to do it again.
So Wayne was out there with you? Oh, you said Nugget Noggin.
Nugget Noggin. Yeah, not Nugget Brain. Yeah, Nugget Noggin.
yeah, Michael.
Michael Bennett.
Brain.
Yeah. No. Someday I'd like to go down south and see Wayne down there and go do some prospecting with him.
Yeah.
One of these days, Wayne will do that.
Well, I want to go down next time I'm in Georgia and look up Exploring with the Nug, Jeremy. I would like to do a little river treasure hunting, but I'm not certified, so it wouldn't be tanks. It would be with a snorkel or a hookah. We have our friend with us, David Buckle from Tasmania.
What's up, David?
Gold Rush, Tasmania. How you doing, our friend?
I'm well, Ed. I joined the show a bit late. I had an important Skype meeting to do, so I missed a bit of the show. But I do have a question for DK, and I'm hoping that it hasn't been answered already.
Go for it.
Okay, DK, it's a hypothetical question, so you have to suspend your imagination for a little bit and just try to answer honestly,
Get some more whiskey. Hold on a minute.
Digging,
Sorry, go ahead, David. Sorry.
if you were digging and found a here comes Debs. You want to say hello to Debs?
Oh, of course.
Of course.
She just walked in.
Where's Debs?
She's a lot prettier
Where's
than you.
Debs?
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Oh, I got the hairier face and she's got the hairier legs.
You can hit him, Debbie.
Keep him in line.
Yeah, he's only got the rough exterior up here, but he's got the fine, dainty legs, right? Shaves them, keeps them nice and sweet.
Nice and smooth.
If you had a shocker collar with the button, he'd listen to you better.
Oh, maybe we could. All right. See you, Debbie.
Oh, DK, if you were having a dig and you pulled up a jar and a genie popped out and said to you, I will give you the choice. You can find $500,000 worth of old artifacts and coins and gold and treasure, and you're allowed to sell that, or you can find $1 million worth of treasure and you're never allowed to sell it. What would you do? What
The
would
$1
you
million
choose?
worth of treasure and never sell it.
Really?
Yeah, I would have to imagine that would be spectacular to be worth $1 million. And to me,
Yeah.
that would definitely be worth it. I seriously don't ever see myself ever selling anything I find, even if it was a, now here's the deal. Here's the caveat to that, David. If I go back to England and I find something spectacular, like a couple hunts before ours, some guy found this little tiny cross with a religious emblem on it. It was about this big, about 1 inch, 2 inches tall. Now they took that from him and they took it and they gave it to a museum, and the museum evaluated it, and they came up with an evaluation of $20,000. And they said, we're going to take this and we're going to give you $20,000. Now the rule is in England, you have to split that with the landowner 50-50. That's the arrangement. That's the agreement. I have no say so in the matter. I would take the money at that point, knowing I had, but my name would be on that thing in that museum as the finder of that artifact. It would be my find. So I'd be okay with that. But I just don't think that I would wish for, something I could sell for the $500,000. That might be nice.
Yeah.
It might give me some things, but that treasure would be something I could be able to hand down to my kids. And I think a lot more people would get a bigger bang out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I think.
I totally understand. It's an interesting one. Interesting one. I don't know. I've never done the treasure hunting side of things. I'm into gold panning and going in water looking for gold and stuff. I told myself at the beginning, I'm never going to sell it, because it's the truth is it's so hard to find, and the dollar value attached to it is so little. And what happened, I ended up selling my gold, and I don't have many regrets in life. I always say I don't regret things because I've learned from them and it makes me who I am today. But I do regret giving away and selling my gold. It's one regret I do have, because the pride that comes with that, and the amount of effort knowing what it takes to find it just is so much more than money to me.
Yeah. And I'm just letting you know that that's my feeling with this hypothetical question right now, as I sit here today. I mean, in 5 years, that may change. In 5 years, I may see that $500,000 as the ability for me to go chase some other dream or to chase some other way of life. Maybe I want to remove myself and go live out kind of in the wilderness. I think you're kind of out there a ways, and, live that kind of lifestyle.
And that wouldn't have anything to do with metal detecting.
No. So,
or treasure hunting.
So, ask me then and maybe my question would be different. But as I sit here today, I would rather have the treasure and never have to sell it. Like if I found a shipwrecked treasure, I would hold on to that. As I sit here today, that would be something. I'd have the treasure room of all treasure rooms, and people could.
And you would be the only one to know it, right?
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't say anything. Probably.
I have I've never done the treasure hunting thing, but honestly, I have dreams, and they're beautiful dreams. I wake up and I think, oh no, it's real life. I want to go back to sleep, because in my dreams I'm finding large, beautiful amounts of treasure. And I don't know if it's just my head messing with me. Maybe it's a calling thing. Maybe
reminds me of a cartoon I just saw the other day.
Right. Wake up, honey! You're only dreaming. He's standing in front of this huge nugget taller than him.
Yeah.
Anyhow, guys, I'm gonna get.
What? Well, let me ask you a question, David. Since you said that.
No. I'm the question asker. I don't answer questions.
One question.
I tried that. They wouldn't let me get away with that, David.
One question. What do you consider a treasure? I mean, besides gold. Well, I mean, what do you consider that would be treasure worth looking for where you're at?
That's a very difficult one. Like, we're in Tasmania, like the USA is a young country compared to Europe or something like that.
Right.
Tasmania is even young. Tasmania is even younger. So we don't have them really ancient bloody artifacts and Viking things and all that sort of stuff. There's none of that.
You don't have Civil War relics, and you don't have, things like that either. Right.
No.
You guys have hardly any history at all.
Hardly any. And to tell you the truth, where I live in Tasmania, there's a lot of places where white man has never been. Like I went over to the mainland of Australia and I went gold detecting. Honestly, I was picking up thousands upon thousands of pieces of junk, old buttons from the old timers that went mining there. I come back here, I can go all day in the bush swinging a detector, and it's pristine. There's no rubbish.
Wow.
So it's a hard one here. I like the idea. I love the idea of treasure underwater. I love that. If I ever got the opportunity, I'd jump at that. If I could go diving for looking for shipwrecks or dredging the bottom of the ocean and all that, I'd love that.
Right.
David, what are the Aboriginal people or the native people of Tasmania called?
They're called Aboriginals. What happened on the mainland of Australia, there's still Aboriginal people, and what happens is when they breed, have children to a white person, they become a half caste. The children are half caste, and they kind of get bred out. What happened in Tasmania? It's a terrible history. What happened? They came to Tasmania and they put a bounty on the Aboriginals. The white man did, and they killed every single one of them.
Wow.
Every single one. There was not one left. So there isn't Aboriginals in Tasmania at all.
So finding something from their culture would be somewhat of a treasure if you were able to stumble across, let's say, a hunting camp that no one knew about, and you found, items used to skin or
tools and stuff,
and such. Yeah, that would be considered.
So you do have treasure there.
Oh yeah, all kinds of ancient Aboriginal treasures.
I never thought of that. I never thought it's a good point. I actually came across something down the river. I was with a geologist by the name of Stu JD, and I seen these markings beforehand in the river bed itself, in the bedrock, and it looked really unusual. And I got the geologist to look at it, and he said, that's not natural. That is not natural. And he said he didn't know about such things, but he imagined it was something that the Aboriginals had done to sharpen their tools or something, like for their spears or something, because it was all grooves and it was just in a pattern that wasn't natural.
Right.
I suppose that could be a treasure. No money in it, but yeah. I'll have to take a photo one day. I've never told anyone about that.
That could have been a sign of some sort, a directional sign, or
I don't know.
Right, I mean, see, so you do have treasure. You just don't know it yet. Now you got. Now you've got something that is unique that you can hunt for.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I'll keep my eyes open.
I love it.
Best of luck, David. Best of luck, man. I hope you do. I do.
Hey, I'm gonna head off, guys. DK, really enjoyed watching you and listening to your stories. Love the Dirty Dozen. Yeah. I'd love to be there with the Dirty Dozen for sure. I'd be the Baker's Dirty Dozen. Love flashing your pan family. Love you guys. All right, see you later.
You too, Dave. Debbie.
Saturday, bro.
See you soon. We have a question from a mutual friend of ours, DK. Yes. Chrissy, Outdoorsy Gallo.
That's O.
Who's the funniest person you have ever hunted with?
Now, was it hunted with or interviewed? Because I saw a question earlier that I think it went past where she was asking me funniest person I ever interviewed. Is she asking about the funniest I hunt with now?
It's hunted with, yeah.
Never hunted with.
Hunted with. Okay. Funniest person.
Well, I actually answer them both.
Yeah. Let me see. Funniest person I ever interviewed. Oh boy, either combination between Quarter Hoarder, Jason Quarter Hoarder, and Henry Moore with the Stealth Diggers. Those two were pretty funny, and then of course Jeff Plugmaster Ford is always a hoot. Always fun. Probably funniest person I ever hunted with. I think I have to say, shut up, Siri. Probably, everyone out at the Pound the Ground. I went to Pound the Ground last year.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I should have
hung out a lot with Plugmaster Ford and Quarter Hoarder and Missouri Mike and PA Pirate Paul and Charlie Harley. And we had so much fun. It was a cut up from the minute go. Even in the evenings, having a steak at Texas Roadhouse, we were laughing from the time we started to the time we finished. So I couldn't pick one of them out, but probably Plugmaster Ford.
Okay.
You probably have to say the group that you were hanging out with.
That's it. The group from Pound the Ground.
Now here's a follow-up question to Pound the Ground.
Mm-hmm.
Were you part of the debacle that got thrown out of the hotel? Part of the group?
Okay, I'm just trying to frame that in the right way. Yes. No, I'm kidding. We did stay up quite late at the hotels we were at and drank a little bit. And I think one of us ended up at a Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning looking for an Eagle outfit, but that'll be a story for another day. You can ask Matt Howell about that. But no, I don't think I know the story of anybody getting kicked out of the hotel. There was quite a debacle one day at the event where somebody got thrown out of the event and almost kind of came to blows.
Oh,
so there was a debacle with that, but I wasn't involved with it. I was there to see it. So
I was under impression quite a few of the participants of Pound the Ground actually got kind of kicked out of their. They got kicked out of somewhere. So.
Yeah, a few of them were challenging the organizers and really calling them out on the carpet and asking them some tough questions that they didn't want to answer there at the event. And things got a little hot, and they ended up throwing them out and calling the cops, having them come remove them, because I think things came to blows at one point. And
oh wow,
it wasn't good. It just wasn't good.
No, that's not good.
Yeah, I think it was just all over what people were expecting versus what they received.
Right.
I think a lot of people had different expectations, and you could make the argument that maybe it was, promoted a little too lofty. People thought there was going to be more there than what was there, and when it didn't turn out for them, they voiced their dissatisfaction. Yeah.
Right.
I had a great time. And had a really cool find. I ended up finding a War of 1812 soldier's cuff button, little pewter U.S. cuff button from the War of 1812. A bunch of buttons, but it was the social aspect of that event that made it all worth the trip for me. I mean,
yeah, the treasure mixers say I want to hang with the people that you kicked out of places.
That's Angela.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be fun. I know that we pushed the limit in the hotel we were at, but we stayed
pound the ground, not pound each other.
That's it. That's it.
Funny. Okay.
So now that you've been overseas, England, and probably been most places in this country.
Not quite. Yeah.
No,
I still got a lot of places I'd like to go for sure.
What, here in the United States?
Yeah. I got a lot of trips planned, man. I just don't have the money to go do them all. I got people because of my involvement with the Weekly Dirt Show, I've come to know everybody. It just seems like I know so many people, and everyone invites me out, and I was like, love to go do every single one of them. Like, I'd love to go to Pennsylvania and dig with PA Pirate Paul and Charlie Harley and Quarter Hoarder and those guys, and go up to Virginia. And I got to do that. I went to DIV last year for the first time, digging in Virginia, and got to hang out with Matt Howell and all his digging buddies. Another epic trip that I just so happy I went on that trip. But there's people now up in Washington State that want me to come up. I'd love to go up there, up in Canada. all over the place, even in Missouri, as close as Missouri is to me. And it took me to travel 3,000 miles to England to go dig with Missouri Mike and Plugmaster Ford. But
I can feel you. We can feel your pain there.
Yes.
You know.
right.
Because trust me, we get invited a lot of places and love to go to these places because, you know, it would just be so much fun.
One day
And,
maybe, but
you know, even though I'm retired and these guys still got to work, you know, there's still that problem. They got to work. You know, I'm retired. I got all kinds of time, but I don't have all kinds of money.
Yeah.
They got the money, don't have the time. You
Yeah.
know, it's just that's the way it is. You know, so we work it out. We'll get somewhere this year. Hopefully, California.
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 yeah.
And as one of the trips.
Right. That's one of the trips.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Might be a Vermont trip there again somewhere down the road.
I love going to Vermont.
That was a good time.
Yes,
Get out and
Miss
see Wayne Nugget Brain one of these days.
We
Yeah.
haven't been that way yet.
Miss Laurel has a question. I'd question Flash Fam, but anyone from New York area going to Flash Bash 2? I believe you're the only one, Miss Laurel. But we have
get on
someone coming from Maine and someone coming from a lot farther, but because of reasons that has to be kind of quiet. But yeah, too bad you couldn't make it to Flash Bash, DK.
Yeah, I know that would be another trip I'd have to try to put into the hopper. And you know, there's this new detecting kind of festival coming up next year in the spring, and out there in Virginia, and I'm looking at that. Maybe I want to go out there. You know, I've got this epic trip planned in my head too that I've had planned for about 3 years now, and it's all tied around my genealogy. I do a lot of genealogy research for my family, and I have land and locations that I know that exist that used to belong to some ancestors of mine. They no longer own it. It's no longer in the family, but I know where it's at. And boy, one of my top bucket list items would be to find something that I could tie to one of my old ancestors.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
If something had king on it, I would just flip out.
Right, that would be really awesome.
Now there's in Missouri, there is a homestead there, and 160 acres that he was granted originally, and now it's been kind of parceled out. But
right.
The original smokestack for the old homestead is still standing. Like you can still see it on Google Earth. And
was it out in the woods?
There's a king cemetery in a little corner by the woods that they kind of left fenced up. And other of my family members, third cousins and stuff, have gone out there and have seen it. And it's not really maintained, but the farmer leaves it alone. It's just there in situ, just kind of sitting there, you know. And the smokestack is just in the middle of his big field, and he just keeps plowing around it and leaves it there, and leaves a little spot there. So I know who he is. I've researched him. I know who owns it, and it's just I need to plan the trip and then say, hey, bud, here's who I am. Here's my documentation. I'm coming out to Missouri this date. I would love it if you'd let me go poke around a little bit, and just pray that he would let me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
There's another trip.
Right, there's another trip.
There's another trip.
Right.
But
what would be your scare?
Yeah, like I said, we have trips.
What, Jesse?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say now, what was your scariest experience?
What was my scariest experience out digging? Well, a couple things come to mind. When I was in England, it wasn't too scary because I had my back turned. But once I got out of the vehicle and realized what had just happened, we were going down the road. And in England, the roads there are very narrow and there's no shoulders to them. And then there's this huge ditch and then a set of hedgerows that line the fields, you know, and we're in this back country, middle of Colchester. And we're coming home and it's raining a little bit and we're talking. We had the van in front of us and we're in this van and I was in the back. We had opposing seats. So about 4 and 4, we were all looking at each other and then there was a driver and a passenger. And we're talking and everyone's just cutting up and talking just like we're talking now, yakking away.
Right.
And they're talking up front. I could hear them just going back and forth and talking. And all of a sudden we caught a wheel into that ditch. And we just started from full speed. We just hit that ditch and we all started just bouncing around back there, you know, bouncing. And we came to a stop really quick. And we didn't hit anything, but that mud in that ditch really slowed us up real fast, you know. And everyone was okay, thankfully. We were at such a pitch that we had to like climb out the sliding door and kind of mountain climb out of that van and got out. And yeah, he got on the walkie-talkie, told the other van, hey, we just wiped out. And the van was still operational. It didn't get banged up that bad because we kind of hit the hedgerow, and that kind of held us upright just enough that we didn't sink down into the mud, which would have stopped us a lot faster, you know, more urgently. So we survived it. Everyone was fine. They pulled the van out there, took it to our place. We ended up using it. It was fine, but it was sure scary. That was one of the scariest moments I had, you know, out on a hunt, out with that. And then this other story I have, me and my buddy Tony, he had gotten us permission. That kind of happened kind of weird. Some guy he was out scoping an area, kind of getting his bearings, looking at some land. And this guy pulled up in truck, said, hey, what are you doing? And Tony told him, and they got to talking and hitting it off. And he's like, my family's owned all these acreage out here, thousands and thousands of acreage. Yeah, sure. Do what you want. Hey, you want me to show you where the bottle dump is? Hey, do you want me to show you where they found gold in this creek over here? Hey, do you want me to show you where the old home sites were? And Tony calls me. He's like, we just hit the jackpot. You know, this guy's so cool. And he kept coming out, and Tony went out there twice before me. And the guy came out with backhoes and like opened up the bottle pit for him, and brought him beer and brought his dog out there, and they were just hitting it off. About the best permission you can imagine. Wow. So him and I went out there 2 weekends in a row and hit the bottle dump, and we're just down there, and you know, he's got his sidearm on him because there was rattlesnakes out there, and the guy said, yeah, you see a rattlesnake, if you want to shoot it, go ahead and shoot it. And it's whatever, if it's close or whatever. So he's got that on him. We're digging bottles, everything's cool. We put up a canopy, we're just having a blast. Well, this other truck, this black truck, this guy was in a red truck, black truck was sitting on this ridge. And I kind of, hey, you noticed that truck? Yeah, I noticed him. He's been sitting there for a while. Pretty soon, here comes this truck, four-wheeling it over ground, heading towards us. And it caused us to kind of step back a minute. And guy pulls up, real nice dressed guy. He's got this beautiful wife in the truck with him, kids in the back. And he goes, what are you guys doing? And we said, we're digging for bottles and old relics. Yeah. He's like, and who gave you permission to be out here? We're like, oh, Brad did. Brad, the owner of the land. He's like, he's not the owner. I'm the owner.
Oh.
So this guy, Brad, had been BSing us the entire time.
Oh, and he even brought out a backhoe and stuff?
Backhoe. And he's like, who's this Brad guy? So we like pointed him out. He lives in that house over there, this big, beautiful mansion. And he goes, well, I'll be right back. And he heads over there. The guy was living in a trailer. He was a groundskeeper. He was living in a trailer behind this big mansion. Oh. He was kind of taking care of the ground. And, you know, he was just kind of one of those guys that wanted to befriend everybody. And so it wasn't real scary, but I mean, it was kind of a unique experience. So I thought I'd tell you about it.
Now, did Brad get fired?
Brad came out, you know, it was a typical thing. You know, the guy was caught, you know, he was caught in a lie, and he came out after that guy left. He's like, oh yeah, well, the transfer of the land deeds are turning over now between my family and his family. Yeah. He was explaining himself off, but the new owner, the real owner, said we could stay there as long as he didn't want us bringing our guns out there. And we didn't go back. We actually never went back because we were just like, yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, you know.
Right.
When it gets sketchy, it's time to rethink the whole thing.
Right.
We
were finding bottles from the 20s and 30s, so they weren't going back that far. You know what I mean? So yeah, we just kind of gave up on that.
Yeah, dirty girl detecting us any cool bottle.
Yeah, we found some really cool perfume bottles. And a lot of sauce bottles, of course, you know, from the 20s and 30s. They used a lot of sauces back then. And we found some whiskey bottles, some really cool patent whiskey bottles with that federal mark on it and all that stuff. And we found a lot of old compacts and lipstick containers that we were able to track down and out of this company out of New York and find the brand and all the ad that used to run back in the 20s for it and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, lipstick containers are a very collectible item.
They are.
A lot of people collect those things.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to Emily. Hi, little dirt diggers.
Hey,
good to
Emily.
see
How
you.
doing?
Hi, Shannon, if you're there
Shannon,
with them. But excellent. That nice story, DK.
Yeah.
So how's Tony doing? He didn't go to England with you?
No, he was set up for it. He had to bail. Something came up in his world, and he had to bail on the trip. And that's how Kevin with Potter County Diggers got in, is because Tony bowed out, and they brought Kevin in, and because Tony and I were going to room together because we're buddies, digging partners, and then we were going to shack up. They're going to put us with Nugget Noggin, and then Kevin took a spot and was really up for it. And boy, Tony was just crushed, really. I mean, he was really looking forward to it. So I'm sure when we go again, he's going to try his best to get back in there and go, because he would love that. He would absolutely love it.
Well,
I know how excited he gets for the stuff around here, and he would just.
You'll have to call into the show when Tony's on in July.
Yeah.
Hey, let me say hi to one of our Flash Band members, Thomas Folks.
Hey, Lucky Ducky
brother.
Thomas folks. How you?
Hello, Thomas. And Dep
Thomas
Spader,
is in the house.
Dep Spader also up in Canada. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
Dep Spader, yeah. So.
But yeah, I will. If he's coming on in July, Ed, I'll definitely do that. I'll call up and I'll disguise my voice, and we'll have here's your life, Tony. Tony's a good guy, man. Really enjoyed digging with him.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy. I go into mostly his coin roll hunting streams, but
we've gotten on some really good property here lately. We've gotten on through a friend of ours, through our treasure hunting club. She's gotten us and put us on some property that dates back about as far as you can, as far as settlements here in Colorado, with people moving west, the big push west for the gold rush and all that stuff. So we're in the 1850s, 1860s, mainly 1860s. So that's about as old as you can get here. And we're finding soldier items from the Union Cavalry. We found a Union Cavalry camp here. Now, of course, they weren't active, Civil War veterans, active duty actually in the Civil War, but they were here during the Civil War, protecting the citizens and establishing military camps and such. And they carried all the same stuff they're finding out in Virginia, except they're in a little better condition. A lot of stuff's more pristine, it's not so battle hardened, and which that has its allure too. I went to digging in Virginia this year for the first time and dug at Coles Hill, which was just an amazing experience.
I saw Matt's videos with you there.
Yeah.
I so want to go dig a pit with them.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. They metal detect, find something to give them an excuse to open the ground up, and then look for pit remnants to dig a pit. You know what I mean? Some people probe looking for pits, trying to hit a bottle or piece of glass or bone. And other people, they just metal detect, and when they find a target, they dig a much bigger hole than they would need to find a little tiny bullet like this. But they're doing that. They're opening it up so that they could look for remnants, bone, glass.
Right.
Then dig, look into it deeper.
Okay, Outdoorsy Gal O has a question for you. What do you think of the EW Apex? And do you think it will get one of? And does he think he will get one in his arsenal?
There you go. Yeah, the new Garrett Ace Apex, brand new metal detector, just came out. They had a big launch this last week. Yeah. It was. I thought the launch was done really well. I wasn't a big fan of the workup teaser videos they put out.
Right.
I understand they had to kind of change up the way they did things. Because they had planned on kind of revealing it at the Charles Garrett Memorial Hunt this year, which got canceled. So they had to change up the way they were going to release that detector.
Right. Everything got canceled.
Yeah. And I thought the teaser videos they did leading up to it, I thought they were real cheesy, and I didn't think they did a very good job with them. But, that's what they wanted to do. That's what they did. And that's fine. But the reveal they did, I thought was done really well. They were signing people up to come check out the reveal, and they just did a really good job with it. What do I think of the detector? Well, I think a lot of people were a little disappointed that it wasn't a new flagship detector for them. It wasn't like a revision of the AT series. It was a revision of the step up in the Ace series.
Yeah.
but they figured out the multi-frequency. They figured out that technology, and they've got that in their arsenal now. So I would be willing to bet that it wouldn't be too long before we're seeing it in their higher end machines. I think a lot of people were disappointed that the machine wasn't waterproof. And when I look at it from trying to put myself in a manufacturer's shoes, if I'm going to put out an A series product, probably not going to make it waterproof, because that's going to add $200-$300 to the product, and it's going to take it out of that competitive market. And especially if the AT series are already waterproof, and then I can throw in the multi-frequency into that and come out with some new, flagship detector later on. It's just real interesting decisions, and Garrett made them for a reason. I'm sure they put a lot of thought into it. And will I get one? I think she had said, will I get one? I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to pick one up. Now,
but you wouldn't turn it down.
We're interviewing.
Right. You're not going to turn it down if one's offered to you, for sure. The other question that keeps getting repeated on here, and they're collaborating for, I want to see some treasure porn.
Treasure porn.
We lined up. We asked Ken to get some finds. So yeah.
I grabbed some things. I don't know how they're going to come.
And I'm getting. Does he have any treasure porn? Does he have it in the show? What's he got for show and tell?
Digologist says they said it was the first of a series of rollouts.
There you go.
Holding out for a new AT Max.
Yeah, with the multi-frequency, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of people will. I think they're going to dominate the big box stores. I think they're just going to dominate the Cabela's and all that stuff with the new Apex. And people will pick it up. People love Garrett. People will pick it up just to get that multi-frequency. They'll deal with the rainproofing of it, and that's still pretty good. But I think my buddy Tony's going to try and get one for sure. And we're having Steve Moore on the Relics Radio podcast here on Thursday night. So I will mention that here tonight, that if any of you want to come over to the Relics Radio show on Thursday night, we've got Steve Moore on, and we're going to ask him all these questions and more for sure, and get some information out of him. And at the end of that, if he wants to send me one to review, absolutely I will, Steve. I doubt
not a problem, right?
Now, how can they find you if they don't know of your podcast already? The podcast, how can they find you?
Yeah, Google's a great thing these days, and if they just Google Relics Radio, 2 words, Relics Radio, you'll see it come up. It'll say Relics Radio on Spreaker.com, and that's the best way to find us. The first link that comes up is the best one, and just click on it, and you'll take it over there, and you'll be able to find us for sure. We've had some great guests on lately. I'm telling you, we've had some really great guests on.
Cool.
Excellent.
Treasure porn. Okay. First thing I grabbed, I don't know how it's going to come on the camera, but I told you I went to digging in Virginia. And when digging in Virginia, the big thing is to put these shadow boxes together and display boxes. And then every day at lunch, you go and you put your displays out. These are just a few of the items I found. I'll go ahead and put it up here and see what we can do here. And I'll see what it looks like.
Nice.
Okay. So as
some 3-ringers.
Some 3-ringers.
Nice.
Some Williams cleaner. The one with the little nubby at the bottom of it is a Williams cleaner. The thing in the middle is called a belt keeper. Soldiers use that to keep their belts together. I didn't know what it was, but Matt Howe was able to identify that for me. The long thing that looks like a long bullet is actually a carved bone handle knife. It's a knife handle, actually, that's busted off, but it's decorated by the soldier that made it. He's carved those little notches in there. If you can try and see if those little notches in there. All those rivets came from the backpacks that they had. They wore out really easy. That's a piece of a J hook there next to the belt keeper. And one thing I didn't know until I got up there, because I'd never dug a Civil War bullet before, is the base of these Civil War bullets. They all have different features on the inside of them that tells you what armory they came from. And sometimes you can get a star bullet, and I think that red colored one right in the middle is a star bullet. It's got a star insignia on the inside of the cone. So that makes that a little special.
So they're all basically signed by the manufacturer. They got their stamp on it, per se.
That's right. Yep. That's right.
Cool.
So yeah, that's a bunch of camp lead.
So those look like they're in pretty good shape. Like they didn't really hit anything.
No, these are dropped. These are dropped pieces. I
Okay.
found a couple of fired pieces also that are in a different box.
Mhm.
Kept all the fired ones together and stuff. So yeah, that's digging in Virginia. You can still see all the red dirt all over it. No one really
Right.
cleans that stuff off. They just kind of leave it there.
What's What's that those little white things on the sides?
That's just pieces of camp lead,
Oh, okay.
just melted camp lead. You
No,
know, they're-
From when they were pouring bullets and
yeah,
stuff.
pouring bullets. You know, they camped all winter there at Coles Hill, and they were bored. So they did things like one cool find you can find there. I haven't found any, but you can find carved bullets. So they take those 3-ringers and they would carve them little scenes into them and figures and carve them into little horses and stuff. And if you find a carved bullet, it's really a cool.
Oh, that's
thing.
cool.
Well, I bet you that would be a special find.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems to me I saw somewhere where they had found part of a chess set where they carved the pieces out of bullet.
Yeah, they would make chess sets out of those bullets, carve them into all the pieces.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. I learned something there for digging in Virginia. Our buddy that was with us, Frankie, he dug a pit and he found a hair dye bottle. And you're thinking, what in the heck would hair dye be doing in a Civil War soldiers camp? Well, I guess it's a thing. I guess vanity was what they did.
Always been around.
yeah. And the older guys, they didn't want to look old to the younger guys, and they wanted to not be seen as, weaker or anything like that. So they would dye their hair. Plus, I heard that, sometimes prostitutes would visit those camps and they would dye their hairs to make themselves more attractive. And it blew my mind what a hair dye would be doing. And that little tiny bottle was probably worth a good amount. I think they're highly collectible, those bottles. But
Wow.
so talking about that camp lead, let me show you this kind of a cool thing. This isn't anything I found. This is something I received as a gift. But Missouri Mike, my buddy over there, Mike Clutter in Missouri, he started getting into making these little figurines. So what he would do is, as he's out there digging and metal detecting, just like those little white pieces you were asking about, Jess,
Right.
he collects all those pieces of camp lead and all the places they dig out there in Missouri. And when they travel, he just collects it and collects it and collects it. And then he melts it down and he makes these little tiny soldiers,
Oh, awesome.
these little Civil War
Oh,
soldiers,
cool.
and pours them
Very
into a
cool.
mold. And he repurposes that camp lead from the Civil War camps into these little
Wow.
soldiers. And then he hand
Those
paints them.
Civil War soldiers are actually from the Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
this piece of lead was from the Civil
That's pretty
War.
awesome.
And how cool is that? I just
That
think
is
that's one of the
awesome.
coolest thing. He made a couple of them. He sent me this big one on a horse and stuff. This guy's got a bugle and stuff. And these guys sit over and watch me edit videos all the time. They sit over at my desk and watch over me.
Wow, that's awesome. That's truly awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, he's making Civil War lead soldiers out of Civil War lead.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Here's a first for me. Like I said, we've been digging these ranches and stuff over in this real old area of Colorado. And our buddy Beth looked down and she found the bottom side of a point, an Indian point, Native American point. And so I said, whoa, there's artifacts around here? And she goes, oh yeah. She goes, you got to keep your eyes down. So my ears are listening to tones and my eyes are wandering for points. And I found my very first Indian artifact. It's not quite a point, but if you can see it, let me see what I can do about this. You can see,
It's been worked.
yeah, it's definitely been worked. It's a front part of a blade. Everyone thinks it's a blade, pretty small. Could it be a scraping tool?
Could have been a scraping tool. Easy been a scraping tool.
Yeah, but it's definitely worked around the edge. Really thin, really sharp in the front. And yeah, I'm just really excited to have seen that on the ground and able to pick that up. See,
You know, sometimes when you see those and you think, oh man, there's a broken point. It may never have actually been a point. It may have been being worked as one, but it broke halfway through
or a
and
blank.
it turned into a scraper.
Yeah, and they turned a scraper, or maybe even a blank they were going to take with them elsewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is really, really cool. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed finding that. I was really excited.
I like it when I find arrowheads or chips, and especially if it's been heat treated, it's been.
So this is one of the most pristine buttons I found out there. It's just a general service Eagle button, but the maker's mark on everything, it tells me a lot about it. And This one just has, this was a dropped brand new button. I don't know if it was carried in a sewing kit because it was actually next to a bunch of old sewing needles that I found. So see if this comes through on the camera.
Oh yeah, that's the War of 1812 one.
No, I think this is Civil War. See that
no,
detail?
it is.
That detail.
There's a detail. That is detailed.
It's not the same eagle.
That's brand new.
That's beautiful.
And, yeah, it's an amazing button that has the most detail I have ever seen on a button that I found, and it's in pristine condition. I mean, full shank. Wow, everything's brand new on it, not crushed. Whoop, nice. I just dropped it and crushed it. But,
you probably just did more damage to it than it's ever been done to it.
But yeah, finding stuff like that out here in Colorado is absolutely not very common. It's pretty rare out here to stumble upon an area that's producing finds like that.
Right.
This is called a star carbine bullet. It's from a star carbine that was used by the U.S. Cavalry. This is a 64 caliber or a 54 caliber, maybe 64 caliber. It's pretty big. It's got a cone in the bottom of it. And these were fired from breech loading rifles, one of the first breech loading rifles that they put in out here called the Star Carbine. And they issued them to the cavalry units that came through here. Not too long after we started finding all these cavalry unit items, there's a little 44 bullet from a Dragoon's pistol. Tony found a company letter B and cross sabers from a Civil War era soldier's hat, cavalry soldier's hat. And so, we're really excited. We know we're in this really great area and we're just pounding it like crazy and trying to add all the other properties adjacent to this right into it.
So let me ask you this. Were you into history before you started metal detecting, or did history get into you after you started metal detecting?
Yeah, that's a great question. I ask everyone that too when I interview them because I think the answers are always pretty similar and stuff. No, I wasn't interested in history at all. Are you kidding? I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. When I started getting into genealogy about 7 years ago, that started getting me thinking at least into the lands that my ancestors came from. And that led me into certain things and finding out what the lands there looked like and stuff. But once I started picking up, even gold prospecting didn't do it for me. Gold prospecting was more technical for me. I wanted to learn the techniques. I wanted to learn how to find the gold in the river and the pay streak and all that stuff and how to sample. But when I started detecting, everything changed for me. I always thought detecting was going to be a very solo thing. You just walk around one guy with a detector, head down, no one else talking to you.
Minding your own business.
And just finding treasures or not, just having a good time. But it turned into the research to me when I started doing research and started finding out, especially here in my local town, what the start of my town was, where they used to hang out, where the circus was, what happened. All these old newspaper articles, started learning about stuff, how the town grew, where it grew from, where the fairs were at, all that stuff, the car races. I wanted to find out where people were gathering, where the bars were, where were they drunk at and dropping coins.
Dropping nuggets through the floorboards.
Exactly. That led me into history. And then it grew out from my local town to the state. And then even further, seeing people find stuff over New Hampshire. And then, so I'll go research that area where they found it and find all the stuff that was happening around the 1750 that they said that item was from, you know what I mean? And then it just has blown up for me. And now the research and the history is probably one of the most enjoyable things.
Right. And I've noticed that about metal detectors, that they not only do they love the hunt, but they love the research of the history of what the things they find. And that's, more treasure, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or just, to me, the things that are cool to find are the things you don't know what they are. The things that you look at and you're like, man, what is that? And you got to go there and look it up and find out that it's some part off of an old rifle or something that they hunt buffalo with or something. And you're like, cool. Here's the second find of my life ever with a detector. Wife had bought me a detector for Christmas one year, and I went out in my backyard and found this little cheap 925 ring, but it was my second find ever.
Hey, silver on your first find? Can't beat that.
Nice. This is what got me hooked right here. That
Yeah,
ring.
no doubt.
I was like, this is in my backyard. Are you kidding me? What else is out there?
Actually, my best metal detecting finds have been in my backyard. Found my first silver in my backyard also.
That's because nobody's hit him yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the
Outdoorsy gal. Oh, she wanted to know, do I go fishing? And do you know a YouTuber called Colorado Fisher? I do know Colorado Fisher. I met him through Tony. And no, I haven't been fishing with them yet. I keep telling Tony he's got to take me ice fishing, but he just hasn't yet. And I probably haven't fished for it's probably been about 15 years since I moved out of California. I left California in 2000. So what's that, 20 years ago now? But I used to do a fair amount of fishing in California. Just when I moved here to Colorado, I got busy with life and kids and everything like that, and just fell out of it. So I enjoy it. I love bass fishing. Bass fishing is my favorite.
I used to walk the river a lot, bass fishing and smallmouth and stuff, but ever since I got back into prospecting, I kind of haven't looked back.
Yeah.
I haven't gone fishing in 8 years that I've been doing this.
Since you started prospecting.
Right. Right.
I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of hobbies, man. I really do. And now I got a lot of them put on the side right now.
Yeah, same here. I'm just gonna say that. I do too. I have lots of hobbies, lots of projects, but they're all just sitting there while I go prospecting.
People keep telling me I got to make more wine. I make my homemade wine and homemade hard cider, and I make homemade cheese. And
cool.
really into cooking and stuff. And
I'll send you my address for the hard cider.
I like the cheese.
Yeah,
I like the cheese too.
See,
Remember,
I get that from everybody.
There's a 3 rule. There's a 3 rule.
I get that from everyone. I'm like, yeah, I got to go make some more because like I'm out of everything. I got 1 bottle of wine left. I think it's like 4 years old now. But yeah, I need to make some more for sure because I love it too. It's great, but gotta find the time. It's like everything else.
No, Dennis. DK's from Colorado.
What was that?
From Colorado, Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado, Dennis. Not VA. He was there with Matt Howell of Gone Digging.
Oh, great. Yeah. Tazzy Adventures. Hey. Yep.
Hey, Brad. Good to see you.
Tazzy.
Say hi to Sarah.
Yeah. Good to see you, man.
Dirty girl detective. Fishing where the best finds are often edible.
Yeah.
Cute. Cute.
Yeah, that's it. I just grabbed a few things, little key winder. I found this little key winder here on a property that dated around 1865 or so. So that was pretty cool. I like little finds like that. Nothing's worth anything, but they're cool. They're cool finds. Little golden diamond ring I came up with in a park out hunting with my son. All kinds of items. So I didn't pull too much stuff out. That's about it.
Oh man.
More finds porn.
Have you been scuba? See what are they talking about? Magnet fishing count? Does magnet fishing count?
It's a form of treasure hunting. You betcha it does.
I think it counts.
I'll tell you what I'm into. I'm into Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. You guys familiar with Forrest Fenn?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those crazy searchers. I've been a searcher for about 4 years now. Been out a number of times. Only filmed it once. You guys can catch that on my YouTube channel, Adventures in Dirt. Look way back towards the beginning. Just look up Forrest Fenn. You can search my channel for it, and you'll see a trip I took out to Wyoming with my family on Easter Sunday one day. We drove 8 hours out there, spent the night, and went out to my solve because I was convinced I had figured it out. So convinced that we did the trip. So didn't work out, of course, but sure gained an appreciation for that part of the country. And since then, I've had my ideas have changed a lot and continue to. I'm getting ready to put out a bunch of videos on Forrest Fenn. So stay tuned for that on my channel. Hope you guys don't get sick of it because I'm going to put out quite a few videos.
Oh no, it'd be interesting. You should hook up with a friend of ours here at Flash in Your Pan, Nugget Brain Wayne Peterson. He's also in Colorado. He's clear down in the southwestern corner of Colorado, though. But
Yeah, I'd like him to teach me about detecting on some tailing piles, because I've never done that. I've never swung a detector over to tailing piles, and I can get my hands on a PI machine and we can get out there and hit some tailing piles. I just don't know how to go about approaching it.
Well, you got Wayne. You also got Bill Southern too.
oh, he's in Arizona.
Oh, he's in Arizona. Okay, right. He's in Arizona.
But if you wanted to learn about nugget shooting, Bill Southern be the guy to talk to, or Kevin Hoagland.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to get into that. Because all I've ever done is just panned and sluiced and, had a good time. Very recreational. You got a lot of fine.
There's people out there, that's all they do, and they do really well.
Yeah.
Just panning and sluicing.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever do any like gem hunting of any type? Colorado's well known for it.
Yeah, they do. They have quite a few spots. I have never done it though. Never, not once. I know a lot of people that have, and it's just never another hobby, right? It's just something.
And that's one of those things too, where you gotta do a lot of research before to know where to go, where you can go. Because like gold claims and stuff, they have those out there too. You don't want to be jumping on somebody's.
Well, that's like with our research. It's not so much here in our neck of the woods right now, Jesse, but during the winter back home in Washington and stuff, I'd research a lot on BLM files.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's your responsibility to find open land. Claim jumping is a Class A felony, and they can end up having all your prospecting stuff confiscated.
With us, like with us here, we either have a private permission or we go to our local GPA lease or OSBA lease. Yeah. We don't have that to worry about. We're out there. You have to be careful where you go, unless you got permissions or part of a club.
I got an idea. I just haven't done it yet. Yeah, you're right. And, study My Land Matters and make sure you're not doing anything. There's some good books out there also. As the guy Steve here wrote that tells you about a lot of the free sites you can go to and such. And those are okay. But what I really want to do is I actually want to do the research on this one river that comes down this one canyon, and they're all claimed up. It's all claimed up. But a lot of the claim owners are out of state. And I want to write those claim owners and I want to say, hey, if you want me to go, I'll go and take pictures of your claim markers. I'll set them up. I'll fix them up for you. I'll repair them if they need repaired. I'll do some sampling and send you some sampling reports if you want. If you just let me and my son go do some very recreational sluicing and panning on your claim and see what they would say. What do you guys think they would say? Do you think an out-of-state claim owner would let me do that?
Some you have a very good chance, yeah. As a claim owner myself at one time, I would give anyone who gave me the courtesy to ask permission, but on the grounds of permission, they would have to tell me what they found and how much of it and where, so I could grid it off. I never took anything, no 10% or 20. They kept it all. I just wanted to know exactly what and where they found it so I could grid it off on my map.
Yeah, and that's very valuable information for you if you're not able to get out there yourself.
If they're local, I'm sure it might be, maybe one time you could come out while I'm there. But if they're out of state claim holders, I would say, especially offering what you're offering, it definitely wouldn't hurt to ask. I bet you'd get a lot more yays than nay.
And all you need is one good yay, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
with 100 claims up and down this canyon river that is has a large history of gold producing, a huge gold producing area that it's been worked to death in the past, but there's still gold there. There's still gold in that river.
Right.
All those people wouldn't have claims on it if there wasn't.
Right.
And it's constantly being replenished. So yeah, I think that's my tact for maybe for next summer. Get out there with my son and try to get some permissions ahead of time. And
Outdoorsy Gal's got another one for you.
What's this?
She wants to know, how about spelunking? Do you explore caves?
Not on
Ooh,
your life.
I love spelunking.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I'd love to do that with Aqua Jigger.
Oh, would you? Yeah. Yeah, I see those videos you put out. That's not me. Some people are like that, some people aren't, and I'm not.
Right, especially like when he finds like that last one he found wherever he was at. It's just a little opening, man. Just a little opening. He knows there's a cave down there, and he dug it out and squeezed himself down there, and wow.
He does that quite a bit.
I need to get myself in there. I just need to be in there. No,
I need to be in there. I have to be in there.
So no, Outdoorsy Gallo, not a chance. I'm just not a big. I've been in caves before. I've been in mining caves and old mining shafts and did some tours and stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily too claustrophobic. I just spelunking is just not something. I don't know if I would.
When you have to
scuba,
get down and
scuba.
Oh yeah, I'd like to get certified, but that'd be nice. I could utilize that, but I don't need certification if I use my hookah.
Yeah, I agree, Chef. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I just don't know what inspires somebody to see a little tiny hole that
to believe that they can get down in there.
Yeah, and have the desire to do that. And if I need to widen it another inch so that I can wedge myself in there, I'm going to do it.
Me and Chef Barry don't fit in holes like that.
Well, I can understand why you big fellows wouldn't want to,
I've been to get wedged somewhere.
I've been into some natural caves and back home that one part we called the wormhole for a reason. And it was a wormhole for a guy like me, Danos.
Yeah, there's no need to try it.
You'd come up to it and say, hell no, Ed. I'm not going through that.
You're on your own.
I went down in a mine in Nevada, a tungsten mine. We climbed down about 50 feet down a rickety old ladder to the first station and walked that. The guy that we went with had experience, so we trusted him. He was showing us things like widowmakers and how not to get lost down there and stuff like that. But the thing that amazed me about that was we were down there. We came to a little opening. We went through it, and it opened up in this huge cavernous space. I mean, 3 stories, 4 stories tall, probably about as big around as half a Walmart, I guess, where they had actually dug out all the tungsten ore out of that space, dug it all out through that little hole in the carts. Wow. Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing stuff. But that was one time, and I'm good after that. I don't need to go down again. That was pretty scary. I mean, climbing down that rickety ladder, knowing that we only went 50 feet. It kept going. It went down even way further down. So
old rickety ladders
wooden ladders could
be dangerous.
Yes, very.
No thanks.
But
holy Toledo, Jazz.
When you're young and dumb, you'll do things like that.
That's right.
Well, my friend DK, we're
a
little into overtime. Time flies when you're having fun.
Right.
Has been fun. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on and lively chat. I appreciate everyone in the chat room that came by to say hello. If you get a chance, head on over to Adventures in Dirt on YouTube and check me out. Take a look around. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. We'd like to have you over there as part of the family. And on all the other social media, Adventures in Dirt. You can find me there also. Catch me Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on Relic's Radio. Just search that on Google. You'll find me there. God, it seems like I'm everywhere these days.
Also, there's a link to his channel in the description below. So please visit DK's channel if you're not yet a subscriber. DK, a privilege having you back again. Had a great time. A lot better this time than when I was trying to run the show off my laptop, I tell you.
Well done, Ed. Yeah, it definitely turned out great.
Thank you very much, my friend. And I'm never know. You might get a message from me sometime through Facebook saying, "Hey, DK, I'm gonna be in northern Colorado sometime. My cousin actually lives in Loveland, so you never know."
Yeah, anytime, Ed. Anytime, just hit me up. We'll get you out digging or wherever you want to go. You want to go get wet in a creek, and just Loveland's got a great place, or we can go a little further south a little bit. 40 minutes away, we could put you on some flower gold at least.
That's for sure. You know, some type of adventure, you know. Yeah. I'd bring my Knox or something, and I paid enough for that machine. I need you start using it. All these detectorists we have on here,
I know,
has put another bug in me. So,
hey, I'm always game for something different too. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, I love the prospect for gold, and I like metal detecting, but I like a lot of other things too. You know.
No, we did it before. We prospect today, then metal detect the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Hang out and do nothing one day. That's fun
yeah,
too.
We do that too.
That's fun too. That's the treasure there.
That's where we get the real gold, sitting around shooting the wind.
With our friends around the campfire, there's the real treasure in this lifestyles of ours.
Yep.
Well, we're going to meet all kinds of new treasure.
I agree on Dorsey Gal. We did have a great guest tonight. DK is a great guest.
That's why I wanted him back, Chrissy. That's why I wanted him back on. Because
I appreciate you having me back on for sure.
No, it's been fun.
Yeah.
And
yes, and we have fun every Tuesday night on this show with our guests and with our chat room, our loyal chat room, because we have a very loyal group of family here.
The awesome. Flash fam, thank you very much for being part of it, all of you. Mm-hmm. And DK, you are part of the Flash fam, my friend.
Well, I see you everywhere, Ed. You and I always have a good relationship, out there in the internet world, and it's always good to connect like this, chat with each other and such. And you're always welcome on anything I'm doing. Just let me know, and we'll cross paths, I'm sure, here and there and everywhere. And definitely appreciate your friendship, my friend. Absolutely.
Well, let us know if you're ever in Ohio. I know quite a few detectorists here too, and we could have you take some Ohio glacial gold home with you, even though it's from Canada. And no, Chrissy, Canada, Ontario cannot have it back.
Well, Ohio is the best kept secret metal detecting. I'm telling you, I know a lot of detectors in Ohio. They're just absolutely tearing it up, and I know they would rather me keep that a secret, but Ohio is a hotbed.
Well, there's a few people from all over the state I love to go out with. Josh Kimmel, Chris from B3 Relic Recovery. He lives about 30 minutes from me. Both of them do, actually. Yeah. Bill Marsh from down southeastern Ohio.
Don't forget our friends
Patrick
and Susie Q.
Yeah.
There's Detection Connection, Square Nail Squirrel, and I got a buddy Seth that went with me to England, lives out there. There's just a lot of connections.
Don't forget Square Nail Bob. I like to go metal detector with Bob.
We've had the Relic Recovers come visit us.
Oh yeah. Right. Jocelyn and Drew came and visited us a couple of years back. Yeah, it was awesome. Really nice meeting them.
More trips. See, another trip. Now I got another trip.
But you have an open invitation with us anytime, DK.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate that, guys. Jess, it was great seeing you tonight.
You
Dan,
too.
always a pleasure.
You
Thanks
too.
for hanging in there with us. And yeah, it was great, man. I appreciate all you guys having me
right.
on and in the chat room.
If you want to hang out for a little bit, DK, while I wrap this up, you're more than welcome to.
I got to get going though. Could I just get going, Ed? I got to.
Oh yeah, by all means.
The family here.
By all means, family first,
I had
friend.
about 8 o'clock, and I got told them.
Yeah. We try and keep it like 2 hours. I definitely, like I said, appreciate your time. Now get out of here. Go enjoy your family, my friend.
All right, guys. Have yourself a good night, man. See you, everybody.
Good night, DK.
Thanks for having me.
Good evening.
Our pleasure. Everybody out there, on that note, thank you for joining us here on Tuesday Night Hangout Live. Make sure to join us next week because we got something real big in store for you. I think you'll love it.
It's huge.
I think you'll love it.
Gonna be some big things happening for us.
Yeah, buddy, it's gonna be big. I'm excited about it.
Don't forget Flash.
The Flash Bash.
Flash Bash. This bag's gonna get more gold put in it.
Oh yeah.
By time it happens, it's gonna be a nice bag of gold.
Right on, as Liz would say. Right on.
Right on.
Is it raffle material?
Yes, it's raffle material.
Yeah. I can buy tickets too.
Yes, you can buy tickets. Only one.
I'll probably buy one.
It only takes one to win, baby. It only takes one to win.
I know, but you can buy what you want.
You come down, Chrissy. Come on down. We'll get you on some gold and we'll go beeping with you. You and Johnny.
Absolutely.
Any of you, just give us a heads up. Email's right over there. Let us know.
Bring Scuba Sonia with you.
There you go. There you go. Come on. And all of those who may still be here who are coming to Flash Bash, I cannot wait to meet you. Those I've already met and know, it's going to be great to see you on the river again.
We're going to meet some new people.
That's right.
Some
new people, and then some people that actually want to come back to the bash. We've already been there.
They must have had a good time last year.
We did.
People actually want to come back.
You're more than welcome, Where Will. Excellent. And so until next week, I hope I see you here. May you always have a flash in your pan.
And you know what he's going to say next.
That's right, Jesse, because you know it happens. Maybe one day, too, we'll meet all of you on the river. Good night, everybody, and God bless. Stay safe.
Good night, Ed.
Good night, Jesse. Good night, Dano.
Good night, Bryan.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Jared.
See ya, Flash Bash, Miss Laurel. Night, Scuba Sonia.
3, 2.
Good night, Miss Laurel. Last one out. Turn the lights off.
Blow the lamp out.